is what
We
we
do this every
call it.
Tuesday, don't we?
Every Tuesday, we've been doing this. Oh, we got a couple of people joining us on Instagram. If you want to see the knives that Kevin may or may not have snuck out of the warehouse, which may or may not, yes, you should go on YouTube. Dashofdelicious.ca just asked on Instagram if they should go to YouTube. We are
Go
live
to
on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's a lot better over there because you'll actually hear Kevin's side of the conversation. He's got the fancy garage sale knives, not me. So that's the fun part.
That's the
There we
total.
go. I'm just going to open up a couple of these. Oh, Don Penny has joined on Facebook. Don Penny, the famed Don Penny. He brought me, well, they're not canned meatballs. We call them meatballs and gravy where I come from. They are canned meatballs. You're not wrong, but there's a nomenclature.
Why don't we
Meatballs and gravy.
show us those meatballs and tell us what's going on here? Because I've heard there's a meatball sub or some such.
No, you just put them on French fries usually. I'll get one of the guys to bring them up for me. When you guys go downstairs and you come back up, grab those meatballs for me. They're on the shelf above my desk. Everyone knows where they are. Oh, so Damon's asking about a little sneaky peeky. That's kind of the goal of today. So it's Japanese Knife 101. Store is closed. I can take my mask off. I had a little bit of a COVID scare this week. Those meatballs for me. They're on the shelf above my desk. Oh, what have I done? I haven't muted everything apparently. There we go. We're good now.
Well, Sean's asking, do you have any blank knives? I don't know what I've got in the box here, man. Here's the box.
Yeah.
I got all those knives. I didn't pack it. Naoto did, so I have no idea what's in there.
Yeah. So
you put those on fries? Why do you do that?
You know what? I haven't had them in I don't know how long I've lived in Ontario. Well, no, I got them once when I was in Prince Edward Island when I was in college. It's the kind of thing you eat when you're in college, or from Newfoundland and there's no fresh food available because of the big rock. But yeah, no, they're great. You like meatballs and you like gravy. You probably don't like processed ones, but
we've had A&W recently.
You know what? A&W is the least of evils, I think. Okay. Japanese Knife 101 happens every Tuesday. You know, we generally get a bunch of we've got some regular friends coming in to hang out. I'm gonna open the can. I'm gonna open this can with the Honyaki Gyuto in the case. And we normally just sometimes we've got a loose theme to the week, but garage sale is coming up. So we figured Kevin has raided the warehouse for a couple of cool things that we've got kind of hidden away. We're going to talk about the week. We're going to talk about knives. We're here to answer any questions that you might have as we go. Okay, good. Kevin's getting to some of the people on in the comments, which is great. So yeah, if you have any questions, we're keeping an eye on YouTube and Facebook. I do have Instagram running, hoping that anyone who's interested will scoot over to YouTube and catch us there. So yeah, maybe we should just talk about what garage sale is first.
Well,
you invented it, so you should talk about it.
Well, you know, I go to Japan a couple times a year, so I'm just calling up the Instagram here so I can watch live.
Okay.
There, I just joined. So I go to Japan 2 or 3 times a year. In a normal year. This year's a funny year, right?
Yeah.
So I go to Japan 2 or 3 times a year. I buy some crazy stuff. I'll buy blacksmith prototypes or experiments. I will buy some sample knives from new lines maybe, or knives from blacksmiths that we don't normally deal with, or sometimes I buy overstocked stuff. So it ranges right from one-of-a-kinds to kind of overstocked mass production knives.
Mm-hmm.
It's all price to sell, like it's all garage sale price to sell to get out of here. The sale goes for a week. And these are some of the knives that we have. Here, I can just pull one out randomly and see what I got.
Yeah. So
This,
one of the things, what? Oh, go ahead.
here. I'll just say this is the sort of thing. Oh yeah, look at this. So this is a knife from Yoshimi Kato. SG2 powder steel Damascus knife with a rosewood handle, maybe, and a red paca collar. What do you think of that?
We've seen those or knives like those. Like they've been a bit of a fall garage sale.
These are one of
move.
the things that kind of shows up for garage sales sometimes
Yeah.
because they're really cool. And the problem is you can't make enough of these for us.
Yeah.
So now that we've got the 6 shops, sometimes these blacksmiths just can't make enough knives for us.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. So that's going to be $379.
Which like that,
So that's
like for
that is kind of an idea of what we're doing today, and an idea of what the garage sales are about. Did I miss anything? Oh, and there's always some
really.
So at our stores, if you come into the store, you're not going to be in the shop long before we thrust a knife in your hand and a tomato and say, "Show that tomato who's boss."
Yeah.
And you cut some stuff and you'll go, "Ooh, ah, sharp." But those sample knives, sometimes we retire those.
Yep.
And what we do is Naoto's fixing them up right now, and we're going to sell them off for something like 30 to 60% off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they've
Depending on how kind of hammered and bashed they look.
Yeah. But Naoto's quite good at making them look pretty again.
Listen, Gabriel's got a question that you can answer. He says, "Do you sharpen both sides on a Japanese knife?" I've heard yes and I've heard no. Help.
Yes. So
he said, hashtag.
Gabriel, that depends on what kind of knife you're looking at, right? If you've got a traditional, I got something here. I've got a Yanagiba here. So if it's like the traditional kind of sushi knives, I do quotes because that's what people ask for when they come in the store. You'll see that it's sharpened, like the geometry of the knife is different. It's not the same on both sides. So this is what we would call a single bevel knife. And that needs to be sharpened primarily on one side. You would put this area, this bevel of the knife, flat on a stone and sharpen like that and polish up the back a little bit, but you're not working on both sides equally. If you wanted to look at a double bevel knife, like this Zero Tsujihiki, if you look at it, it looks more or less the same on both sides, right? The geometry is much more even. And then you sharpen both sides like this. So it depends on what kind of knife you have. I would bet that it's a double beveled knife because that's what most people have, but I might be wrong. So don't be afraid to, let us know what kind of knife you have. And if you kind of know the maker or anything like that, you should, just let us know and I can give you better advice that way.
Yeah. Do you have any news before we get started? I know there's a new president in Spain or something. Oh,
yeah.
I mean the United States.
Yeah.
That is news, right?
Yeah. We got they voted for Joe Biden down there. See what happens there.
He seemed different than the other guy. It seemed like two very different kind of people.
Yeah. Yeah. So
one of them seemed louder than the other. Oranger.
Yes.
Angry.
More of a Cheeto, if it were.
Gabriel says he's got a Miyabi Co 8-inch. Yeah, man, sharpen both sides. That's how it works. That is a two-sided knife.
Yeah, both sides. You want about a 15-degree angle. If you want to get a little bit more, are you guys doing any sharpening on Friday, Kevin? Or is it more sneaky garage sale?
We're going to do the garage, because Naoto and I Thursday night is Francis does the sharpening class Thursday night.
That's right. Yeah, so you could watch. So Gabriel, on Thursdays on Facebook and on same place where we do everything, they do a sharpening demonstration live. So you'll be able to sharpen up. You could work alongside, but in tandem with them, if you'd like, and ask more questions in the moment. So
yeah, watch Thursday night right here. I think it's 7 p.m. Mountain Time, which would be like 9 p.m. Eastern. And if not, we've got lots. If you go to our face or scroll through our Facebook or go to our YouTube site, there's tons of sharpening videos there. You can just find them.
Yeah,
Watch.
there's definitely a more polished one on YouTube with Naoto.
Yeah. And what else do we have? Well, so do that.
We've got the sharpening with the Vancouver crew on Thursday evenings. Normally we've got the advanced sharpening on Friday afternoons. So you get a bit of opportunity there. And then us on Tuesdays, where we sometimes tell you we're going to do something and then we don't do it. Looks like Kevin has a knife in a box that he wants to show off.
So this is a great place to ask questions. We're going to talk about the knives that are the garage sale. Spoon Monkey 3, not to be confused with Spoon Monkey 1 or 2, says, Chris, I hear chili, snow, and lime on brisket is the bomb. I don't know if you want to ask Chris.
Like
I want to ask Don Penny about brisket.
Yeah, ask Don. Don apparently knows much more about brisket than I do.
Yeah,
I don't know what chili snow is. Is that like cocaine? Like, I don't know what chili snow is.
But not from Colombia.
Yeah, like I don't know. Do you know what chili snow is, Meki? Is it like a euphemism for cocaine?
Chili snow?
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it being that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Damon Spector says, are Moritaka similar to Takeda? I believe he asked that question last week, isn't it? Didn't he?
There has said that sometime. Yeah, I don't know if he asked that, but that has come up. They both use a much shallower, like when I showed on here,
the big difference is, and it's got to do with the way they're ground, the way they're hammered and ground. Takeda knives basically go fat across the spine, curve in, and then kind of curve out, and then they're sharpened at the bottom.
Almost, yeah, kind of like a
super thin.
straight razor.
They cut like crazy, but Takeda knives can get like wedged in a potato, for example.
Yeah.
Moritaka knives are ground more traditionally, where they just build the knife thinner and they cut it ground like this and then sharpened at the bottom. So you don't have that kind of that wow at the end.
I like Moritaka knives a lot. Those are my favorites.
they just slice, like they wouldn't get caught in a potato at all like a Takeda might. But I think everybody that likes knives should have one Takeda knife. They should have a 240 Guto because that's signature knife. So if you love Moritaka, or if you love Takeda knives, I think they're interesting, get one of those, get the Guto because they're the weirdest. Yeah. And you love it. You know, but it's never going to be, you're never going to want a whole set of Takeda knives, and you don't need two even.
Yeah.
So that's what I got to say about that. Whereas Moritakas, I know people that have 7, 8, 9, 10 Moritakas.
Yeah.
I know Mike Rinch, our general manager, has got 9 Moritakas.
Yeah. I think I've got 5 or 6.
You had at least 4 before you even walked through our doors.
No, I bought them. Yeah, I had that Deba, that one Deba that was fixed.
Oh, and that's how I met Chris. He brought in Deba when he was working at, he was on this place called Onion 613 in Ottawa. And he brought in this really shipped up Deba, and then I sharpened it for him and brought it back to him. And I noticed his cookbook collection had books in it that were all the same as mine. So I decided I liked the guy.
Yeah.
That's you, by the way.
That's me.
It's you.
So yeah, because I have a 240 karat suke and a 130 petty. I've got the 165 Deba. Now, the thing about a Moritaka Deba or any of their single bevels is that they're not single bevels. I'm left-handed. So their Debas are actually what would be called, like if we wanted to be super nerds, we'd call them a Yo Deba because they're sharpened equally on either side. Oh, I know what's in that. Oh, that's fun.
We got someone asking what's the difference between a Takeda carbon clad and a Takeda stainless clad. Takeda carbon clad knives, the whole blade can rust. The ones clad with stainless, just a little bit of the blade can rust. Think about the way a Japanese knife is built, like a bologna sandwich, and the bologna can rust and the bread can't. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the bologna that sticks out the edge, that can rust.
Yeah.
And the other can't. And
I was going to say the Takeda carbon clad knives are they're going to be a little bit older now because he hasn't made those in a few years.
He still makes them sometimes. I just don't buy them.
Oh, does he?
Use the stainless clad ones.
Uh,
The stainless clad ones stay sharp longer, or at least as sharp. He gets them
Yeah.
thinner. They don't rust and they don't bend. Those old carbon
Yeah.
ones had a problem where they could bend quite easily on the blade, but the stainless ones don't. So it's a better knife, so I haven't bothered with the other ones. Mike or Chris, do you know what this is?
Yeah, well, I think it's very similar to, I can't guess the length, but that is a Kuroshu Yanagiba.
It's 300
Looks-
millimeter.
I thought it was longer than the other one,
300, yeah.
than the one I have in the store.
They sometimes call it a Sakamaru. It's got a
Yeah.
sword tip on there, and it is a Kuroshu, but it's made with made with white carbon steel, which means you can still sharpen it easily. And it is only, and I thought this was insane, it's only $1,105. So there you go. Look at that.
But there's not many of those around.
He made one for Naoto's wedding, and then he made
Yeah.
5.
But he didn't make the, not the 300s though. Those were 270s.
Oh yeah, that's right. Those were 270s. Oh, so
Yeah.
that's right. So this is a few more of them.
Yeah,
And I don't know, I have no idea how he made.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
pretty exciting.
Spoon Monkey says you freeze a chili, then grate it over your food with a fine grater. That makes
Chili-
sense.
no, Oh, I like that.
That makes more sense than cocaine.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Brian was cutting potatoes with a Shimo. By the time I walked away from the knife, put the potatoes in the pot, the knife had gotten a layer of rust looking stuff. Are you doing something wrong? The only thing you're doing wrong is that you literally must wipe the knife off before you do the next thing.
Yeah, Shimos are great, man, but they rust just by looking at them.
Yeah.
They do that.
Yeah,
They do
you
that.
got to wipe it off. I had that conversation with someone there the other day, and it's just, you just have to get it in your head. And you know what? The rusty looking stuff will probably come right off. If you kind of let it settle in a little bit, then what you would want to get is some of that barkeeper's friend or a knifeware rust eraser.
Rust eraser,
And
they're really gentle.
Yeah, to gently scour it out. So
Yeah.
here's Dr. G has a good question here, Kevin, before you show the next knife. I got two good questions. Dash of Delicious is asking, starting out, only have Henkels, want to have special knives that only they use. What would you recommend for someone starting and on a budget?
I've
And
got the
then
recommendation. Watch what we're doing today. And
Yeah.
it'll come.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, just stick with us for a bit, Dash of Delicious. And if you have any more detailed questions, shoot them out at us. Because a lot of what we have at the garage sale is, I like to describe garage sale as, it's almost like record store day. Because you get like, and if you don't know what that means, it's like the record stores will have ultra rare antique albums, and they'll have rare picture disc albums, and then they'll have re-releases
Only-
of very famous albums and
Yeah, or
things like
things
that.
only released that day.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the same thing but for knives. So yeah, hang out and we'll find you some cool stuff. And then, so Dr. G says, when sharpening a double bevel knife with different grits on either side, like Shibata-san does it matter which side is fine and which side is coarse? I've
Doesn't
never thought
matter at
about
all.
that. I
And
always
Damon
just do
says,
this.
different grits on each side. Yes, man, it's a thing. Mr. Shibata, for example, he sharpened this knife I'm holding. He sharpens it to a coarser grit on the right side and a finer grit on the left side. And what that does is it makes stainless steel knives cut like carbon steel. They bite like carbon steel and they stay sharp longer,
Yeah,
while still getting a really super smooth edge. It's a really good
yeah,
trick
it's pretty cool.
done by a serious craftsman called Shibata-san. And he sharpened this knife, oddly enough. This is from Kato-san. It's VG10. It's $325. It's a Nakiri. And look at that Damascus pattern, man. That's wild. This is one of those perennials that shows up at garage sale all the time.
Yeah,
So you're gonna see
That
stuff.
would be a good knife for Dash of Delicious, because like it costs a little bit more because of the Damascus and whatnot, but you'll have it forever and it won't be difficult for you to take care of if you're a student.
And it's all stainless steel, so it's easy to carry. Check
There's a couple.
those.
I was just going to say, there's a couple of people over on Instagram right now. I am on my computer talking to Kevin, and we're streaming this live on YouTube and Facebook. So if you want to kind of get the second half of the conversation, you should head over there, because we're showing off a bunch of really cool knives, and you're going to get a lot more information if you head over that way. I've got one of my students from Algonquin is asking, what would it, I'm gonna have to ask the rest of that. And the best tomato dicing knife is a Japanese one, you know,
Yep.
small,
Sharp.
depends, something super, super sharp.
Listen, Spoon Monkey asked, is Naoto rehandling some of the knives for the garage sale? And does this change the balance point of the knife? And do wall handles have weight classes? Yes, Naoto is rehandling some knives. Yes, it'll change the balance point. And I guess they do have weight classes, yes. But
Yeah, they
Naoto's going
generally,
to try to put, if it's a lighter handle, he's going to try to put it on closer. And if it's a heavier handle, he's going to try to put it on further out.
yeah.
Which will help retain the balance of the knife. Good question. Simon Whitby, he's saying, am I doing something wrong? I have a carbon knife clad in stainless, and there's a squiggly line between the two steels. Like maybe you can see it right at the edge on this knife too. You see a little squiggly line there? And that's like I always say, it's like where the bologna hangs out between two pieces of bread on a sandwich. That's the bologna. But he says, as he's sharpening, that edge is disappearing. That is not, it's just, Simon, you're just not doing it exactly right. If your blade is ground like this and has this nice fat bevel, you want to put that fat bevel on the sharpening stone when you're sharpening, rub it back and forth until that line has reappeared. If your blade is sharpened differently, like this one, where there's no discernible angle there, you're just going to have to put it flatter on the stone just to get the knife thinner again, and then sharpen at your normal angle. I hope that makes sense. Chris Lord, this is from Saji. This has got the Miyabi feel. It's got the piece of steel at the end.
I heard about this
It's got
knife.
ironwood. It's got copper up here and black something. They're 465. They're SG2 powder steel. This is the
What
same.
size is that?
This is a 180. No, it's a 210. So this is the same size and feel of some of those Miyabi birchwood knives made with the same steel.
That's nice.
The difference is it's the same price, and this is made handmade by master blacksmith Saji-san.
That's
This
incredible.
is awesome.
Yeah, that knife looks, I read about it, but I hadn't seen a picture yet.
We've ordered a ton of these, which won't get here for Christmas. So if you want one, these ones are here now. There's not many of them, but we're hoping to have these as a regular product from now on. These are gorgeous. Chris, looks like somebody on Instagram is saying, on the sale, what kind of % off can I expect?
Yeah, so for the garage sale, it's not really, it's not like we're not taking, we're not like discounting everything in the store by an amount. What it is we've brought in other knives, one of a kinds from certain blacksmith. Maybe they're trying out a new line, like a prototype, or we've got some scratch and dent kind of stuff. They are kind of priced to move, but I can't really tell you that there's a discount because it's not something that we normally sell. So it's just new product. It's a lot of fun, like especially if you're trying to flesh out a collection of some kind. There's always something fun to fill the void. So you would also, someone had asked over there too about a Santoku for a daily driver, or what do you recommend? And It really depends on you and what you're cooking. I personally, I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'1", and I find a Santoku to be too small for me. I prefer a 240 Gyuto. If I'm hungover, I'll use a 210.
Benjamin's asking if there's going to be any budget 210 to 240 Gyutos. Yes, there's tons. If you go to the Knife for Garage Sale link, a lot of them are already up there with photos. So you can already have a sneak peek on them. This
I'll actually,
this
go for it.
Do you have any idea what this Chris is?
It looks
Munatoshi.
Munatoshi.
Now,
I read about it, but I hadn't.
This is the guy that Naoto met last time he was out in Japan, which was February. And I was supposed to go and meet Munatoshi in April, but we canceled because there was a thing. I don't know if you heard about it.
This thing going on.
Going on. But I don't know anything about this guy except that he's a third generation blacksmith in Sanjo who specializes in sickles, but he started making kitchen knives. And I'll tell you what, they're thin. They've got a great, like the grind is really symmetrical and really beautiful feeling. And it's got a great feel. It's like, it feels like it can do a ton of work, which this is interesting. So I haven't met this guy yet. This is Naoto. He also says these knives are made in the Hakata style, which just kind of describes the front, the way the front is on this. And Hakata is it's in Nagasaki. Oh, this guy's in Goto. Oh, he's in Goto Islands in Nagasaki Prefecture. He must have, is he trained? Sorry, he trained in Sanjo. Oh no, I'm reading the wrong guy again. Oh my goodness.
He's in Sanjo, Munatoshi. I got this. I think I got the same.
Read it, okay?
I got some notes here.
I haven't met this guy yet, so I don't know this knife yet. But Naoto, who's a huge nerd, loves it. So we can only know that it's going to be great. I think it feels great. I like the balance of it. And I like the way it's ground. The grinding is great. So that's going to be nice. James says, is there a Damascus Gyuto? Is it a river jump? I don't know. It hasn't landed yet. We have to wait till we open the box and see what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes ordering these blacksmiths, they just send us things and they're not super specific.
The pack list is usually
a guess, a wish list.
Yeah. I noticed earlier Derek Arsenault, who's not the guy I went to culinary school with.
The other Derek Arsenault.
Yeah, the other one. He has a 210 millimeter Gyuto and 100 mil paring knife, but he was trimming up a brisket last night. To which Don Penny did mention that he's got a kobunka on the way, which could be fun for trimming. What I like is a 150 petty. I like a really skinny 150 petty. AJ says, will you ever be carrying the Mugen Hap 40 knives again? That's actually the knife that I use for it, but we don't have any of those right now. But I like
that was kind of a one-time that turned into a 5-time thing.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get some more, but they're really difficult to work with sometimes. Because
you know what I would recommend? I really like, I like something that's super thin and stupidly sharp. So like this one, I've wandered away there for a second, but I've got a 150 Kobayashi SG2, which would be a great knife for that job.
My nephew saved up his 14. He saved up his money at his farmer's market job to buy that exact knife.
Yeah, I think this would be a great knife for trimming up a brisket, because I find when you're trimming meat, you really use this part of the knife much more than the rest. So you want something with a bit of a slender tip. I would vote for one of these. Oh, those are fun. We've had those before.
Remember these? These are the Zuzu. It was
Zuin. Z-U-I-N, I think.
They are SG2 powder steel. Oops. SG2 powder steel. And this one's a 150 petty. And it's only $275. And look at the shape of this handle. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Do you know what you call a 7-sided polygon?
I don't know. What do you call a 7-sided polygon?
It's not a dad joke. This is a math thing.
What do you call a 7-sided?
Yeah. It's called a heptagon.
Oh, it's called a heptagon.
Yeah.
Very interesting, Chris.
AJ, oh my God, Kevin, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love AJ.
Very interesting.
AJ said after we said about that, he says, "I've never saw Damascus on Hap 40 till I saw those." He gets it.
That's why I had them made, man. It's hard to get it
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a stainless Damascus on a carbon or almost carbon steel knife and get the pattern to pop and get the steel hard. And that's why it took so long for me to find somebody willing to do it, willing to make it happen.
Yeah.
And there you go. They did. Chris, I'm going to change my headphones here and see what happens.
Cool. I'm going to find a question to answer.
There's a lot of questions. I saw somebody said, why or how do you choose knives for the shop?
Yeah, with so many makers, how do you decide? Oh, Don is asking about any word on the pre-ordered Conros.
Some of them are being delivered now and some of them are not.
Yeah,
Sadly.
we ordered a lot and got a couple. So
we're at the whims of somebody right now.
Yeah. You call me later.
All right, who wants to see some knives? Oh,
Yes.
here we
tell
go.
us more.
This is how we choose knives. It's really easy. If it's a guy like Musashi, who I've got a really great relationship with and I've known him for years, when he says, Kevin, I made a new knife and it's SLD steel and it looks like this, which was the Kuro shoe, I hold it, I feel it, I look at it, I realize that nobody's ever made a knife that looks like this, and then I just place an order because I know it's a steel he likes working with, and it's fantastic, it's in my hand, and I know that he's a great craftsman. So I didn't have to vet that line too hard. If you're a new craftsman that I don't know, or if you're making steel with a different knife, or a knife with a different steel or something like that, I then go through more of a process. And I'll take the knife home and I'll use it and I'll try it and often pass it around to people. Naoto definitely is one of the guys, and I make sure he sharpens them, and we do a lot of work before we decide. Can you hear me, Chris? I can see your mouth moving. Okay. So yeah, I just do a lot of work to make sure that we are getting really good knives. So they've already gone through a vetting process of this. And like I said, with the Musashi Kuroshu knives, I just popped on it immediately because I thought it was fantastic. But I don't normally do that. But I knew it was going to be great for him, and they were. So I hope that answers your question. All right, I've got these two knives here. And Chris, we can't hear you, by the way.
No, I was explaining something to someone on Instagram while you were chatting.
Oh, yeah, well, I was doing.
Yes, I muted myself. They were asking if I was going to preview any knives, and I told them all about coming to YouTube. Oh, that looks pretty.
So you know what this is, right? It's SG2 powder steel. It's $306.
Is it made by a certain curly-haired man?
It's made by a certain curly-haired blonde blacksmith we know called Kurosaki.
Mr. Kurosaki.
So look at the patterns there. So he is famous for making really strange tsuchimi or hammered finishes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's hammered this one with a very strange shaped hammer, and then he's polished it. And that is really cool. And that one's called Senko. Okay. Oh, sorry, that one's called Shizuku. And it's 306 for the Santoku. And his knives, listen, his knives come into the shop and they fly out. That's that. Like, we don't have his knives kicking around for long. If you're interested in one of these from him, just grab it. And this one's called Senko. So again, another wild tsuchimi finish.
Yeah. They kind of look like fireworks, eh?
Yeah, they do look like fireworks, these ones, don't they? Again, SG2 powder steel, and you know what this handle is, right?
It looks like it's hard for me to see on the screen. Look, I would say like rosewood or ebony, but
Yeah, it's rose, and it's got this blonde collar.
it just kind of looks kind of purpley on my screen. So it looks
Yeah,
kind of,
sometimes rose got funny colors, right? But
yeah, it
there's
was
that guy.
throwing me
It's
off.
352. So a little bit more than Santoku, but not that much for the size.
Oh, hi.
Let's see what this is. This is a box, and inside we have, oh, look, more Kato SG2 Damascus. This is the matching one of my knife. Rosewood and red paca handle. It's $395, and this is an acid washed Damascus. It gets that nice black color. Again, powder steel. I've actually got the same knife. I got a 240 of this with a different handle with a rosewood and
Yeah,
mine's got a red American cherry and black collar, but it's the same
I've
knife.
used that one. Did you have that knife in the blue house when I was there last? I
Yeah.
think I survived a week using that knife. They're lovely. They're so thin.
They're so thin, man, and they're so light, and they just keep an edge beautifully.
I
Big
really
fan,
like that
big
steel.
fan of that.
I described powdered steel to a customer today as they were really like nervous about it. It was a really good conversation I had with a lady who called. She was wondering about different types of steel. She's like, I have stainless steels, carbon steels, these hybrids, and I was talking to her about powdered steel, and she's like, I was like, oh, but it's harder to sharpen. And she's like, oh, well, is that bad? And I said, well, not really, because unless you want to take up knife sharpening, that's my problem, not yours.
You just have to see you less.
Yeah, you don't come in as often, but Kevin, I worked on a Haruyuki Yokuma that someone had been sharpening themselves, kind of like our pal who's, where the wavy line had been lost. I had to fix that for someone today. It was a 150 petty, and it took me an embarrassingly long time.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah.
That will happen. Damon says, Kurisaki's represented at every knife shop and every site I look at. How does he pump out so many knives? He doesn't. He sends everybody just a few knives. That's it.
Yeah.
He doesn't make very many knives. In fact, he's one of the least producing blacksmiths we work with, not like Musashi, who makes a shit ton of knives. So Kurosaki really wants to be famous, so he wants to make sure that everybody that sells Japanese knives outside of Japan has a couple of his knives.
Yeah, all eyes are on him.
Nobody's ever got a full line. It's impossible because he just doesn't make very many knives.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can see them around, but most of the time, like at our shop, they're out of stock, and we probably get more Kurosaki knives than anybody, but we just burn through them pretty quick.
If you see one online, it's not the kind of thing you wait for. Like if you see it and you like it, just make it happen. Don't wait because someone else will get it.
So Chris, here we go. We've got an AUS 8.
I like that steel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty.
And that's a really pretty. This would be such a great entry-level knife for someone who, it wants a Western handle, so it won't feel too unusual to them, right? It's a really smooth handle too. I really like this wood. I don't know what this wood is, but it feels good. And it is 152. So
that's amazing.
Not crazy at all.
That is one to keep an eye on. Dash of Delicious was asking about beginner knives. That's one for you to keep an eye on. Yeah.
Now I don't know who this is something
Spoon Monkey is asking, can you rehandle?
Can I do what?
Are you? Oh, I sorry, I was gonna go on a question. Are you talking about that knife? Is that what you were gonna go on about? Because I can answer the question.
Oh, I'm ready to answer a question.
Well, it's kind of a weird one. So it's, can you rehandle a wand knife with a Western handle? I love my Koishi 240. We can't. You need to find someone who can.
You maybe, but it's never going to feel right. It'll never feel balanced. It'll never feel right because the steel in a Japanese handle is much less steel in here than in a Western handle. The balance will always be wrong.
Well, here I'll just show.
You'd have to find a carpenter that's going to do the job, but it's just never really going to feel the same. Yeah,
because the biggest thing, like a lot of the weight in a Western handle comes from this extension of steel through the whole handle, right? So that's what they'll say. Like if you ever hear someone say a full tang, that's what they're referring to, is that the tang of the knife, what extends into the handle, fills the whole handle, right? So you've got a lot more extra steel in here. Whereas with a Japanese style handle, it kind of only extends into the wood about that far. So that's why they're a lot lighter. I know some of I can't remember, I'm gonna like get myself in trouble here because I can't remember, but I know some of the Takamura's knives. Yeah, so that's like a half tang, like Takamura, like it extends to the end but doesn't go the whole way through. Call that a half tang. So that's why Takamura's knives are a lot lighter. I'm doing really well with everything that's like within arm's reach today.
Good job. James Wang has asked me, do I have a Kazuo Doi knife? Now, I have a Keijiro Doi knife, which is the father of Itsuo Doi, and I have a knife from both of them, but I don't know who Kazuo Doi is.
Yeah.
So there you go. Kurisaki's. I'm just looking for questions. I'm just going to keep show and telling. This is Kato-san again. Aogami Super with stainless core. It's kind of like the Aogami version of the Yuki.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and you know how the Masakage knives have this recurve back here. That's something I asked the blacksmiths to do when I was helping them design Masakage knives. And I see Kato-san has just made that for all of his knives these days, so that's quite fun. And there you go, 310. 310 for a 210 Aogami Super with stainless. Outstanding little price on that knife. Oh, I don't have one. So apparently, Chris, Kazuo Doi is Keijiro Doi's father. I do not have one of those. I never met him. Wow. He was not around.
We could
13 years ago when I first met Doi-san, sadly.
What do you got there? Oh, is that? Yes, I know what that is.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think I recognize that mark. Is that one of the Shirogami Musashis?
Yes, it is.
Because you know how I recognize that? It's what's on the T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
The circle.
It's his signature.
Yeah.
So it's got a D-shaped
handle. I like that. I like those handles.
Magnolia and water buffalo horn, and it's Shirogami on the inside and clad with stainless Nishiji. So this is kind of Musashi's version of a Masakage Yuki, I guess. So this is a 210 Yuto for $290.
That's a great. You know what? There's a I can't remember Brett's last name. Good customer here in Ottawa has got a few of those, and they're a dream to sharpen. Oh, I know it's in that box.
Why don't you tell us then?
Well,
I'm going to pop it open. I'm going to do the ta-da.
Show and tell. So, well, I got to see. I know who made it, but I got to look at the. Okay, so yes, it's so that is from Manaka-san. That's the ATS 34, which is a stainless steel that usually is used in outdoor knives. So it's going to be quite rugged, durable, less likely to shatter when you're chopping away. But one of the really cool things, so we started getting in Manaka's knives. We got some in for the spring garage sale, and then we featured him quite a bit during our small makers month. So if you're on YouTube, if you kind of cruise around a little bit, we had an interview with Manaka-san with Naoto, which was a lot of fun. But he's a cool blacksmith. He's a little bit younger, and is largely self-taught. But something that he does that most people don't is he does his own lamination. So he does his own forge welding in house. A lot of blacksmiths don't do that. Like kind of out of our regular, a lot of our regular blacksmiths like Fujiwara does his own forge welding on a regular basis. Moritaka-san, he does his own forge welding on a regular basis. Hinoura, yeah.
But not a lot of blacksmiths.
No.
Musashi does sometimes. Musashi messes around with it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, those knives are amazing. I know, like, for a long time everyone was giving me a hard time about like just buy the Musashi Kuroshu already, but I've kind of been like eyeballing the 240 in that line. I'm kind of waiting for the snow to come in Ottawa, so I spend less time motorcycling and more time cooking before I buy a new toy for the kitchen.
Takamura Chromax knives. What do you think of those, Chris?
Oh, they're great.
And he said, somebody's asking if we're getting any in. We should have lots in for the sale.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, there's someone over on
Chris?
Instagram asking me what's up. We're doing Japanese Knife 101. But if you're on Instagram, you can only see my half of the conversation. Kevin is showing off knives. If you follow this YouTube link, you can find us over there. We're on Facebook too. You can ask lots of questions and get a look at what we're talking about. It's more entertaining than just looking at my ugly mug. So I know what that is. I know that black and red box.
That's why I was holding the box up for you.
Yeah.
What do we got here, buddy?
So this is Mizaki, who is from, I don't know if he's from Tsubame or Sanjo.
He's in Sanjo. He's from Hokkaido.
Okay. Oh,
He's the motorcycle man.
Yeah, Mizaki cruised around, decided he wanted to be a blacksmith, and then cruised around Japan on a motorcycle, learning little bits from lots of different people.
And lots of different trades too. Like he learned paper making, scissor making, I think chisel making, and then decided on kitchen knives, and then decided on Sanjo because they invest in local blacksmiths there.
Yeah.
So he got a good grant, and he just liked the level of craftsmanship in the area.
Yeah. His knives are incredible. We didn't really get any in for Small Makers Month out in Ottawa because there wasn't a ton to go around. But he uses white number 2. They're super, super thin. Like they're like disgustingly sharp out of the box.
They're disgustingly sharp. They're not that thin. Like the spine is kind of robust in ways, but it cuts like a thin knife.
Yeah.
They feel like they just blast through stuff.
They qualify
I love the
for
shape of them too, right?
Oh,
Those
yeah.
are great.
When people will often use the word laser, like, is this knife a laser? And it's usually, there's just like a certain level of sharpness. Oh, I know what's in that silver box too. I'm doing really well today.
I don't. Oh, I do. Ta-da! It's an oak box inside the box. And the oak box has a drawer. What could you put in the drawer, do you think, Chris? Gummy bears?
It's a gummy bear drawer. It's for your chili snow.
For your chili snow?
For the chili snow.
Is it a slicer for katsuobushi, or sometimes called bonito flakes? So there's the blade. Oops. There's the blade in here. It's just like a chisel, just like a plain blade. It's banged in here, and there it comes out the top. And then the hole goes through to the drawer, so that you fill up the drawer with the flakes, and then you use that to make all your dashies and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
These are cool, and it's interesting too, because more and more chefs in North America and Europe are trying to make katsuobushi or similar, like smoked, dried products. I know, what's your friend in New York, your buddy, what's his name? My buddy was his sous chef for a while.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Milk Bar. It's got a place called Milk Bar.
Oh, David Chang.
David Chang.
Yeah.
I know he makes a pork version of it, right?
Yeah. Well, you know Chris Commandant here in Ottawa. He's. Oh, that's nothing. $135.
Barely pays for the blade in it.
Yeah. Well, you know Chris Commandant. He's on Instagram there, Food Pimp. You know that.
Oh yeah.
He's done it. So he works at Algonquin College, and he's in charge of the Aboriginal apprenticeship program. there, and
Oh, yeah.
they've done similar things using game to make like, and he has one. That's what he bought it for, like a really hard cured smoked. I can't remember what meat it was he used, but he was doing the same thing, shaving it for a broth. It was pretty cool.
Attack? What's it called?
I can't remember. Well, are you asking me about the knife? Because I know about the knife.
I just like to make the knife swim. So on Tosa, in Shikoku Island, there's a history of making knives that are shaped like whales. So we have got a collection of whale knives. There's 67 entire dollars,
Yeah.
and they just, I love them.
And you know what? They are one of the most popular garage sale items.
Yeah,
every year.
they get sold out pretty quick.
There's one shape that if you don't get it on the first day, you got to crack at it on day 4. It's the sperm whale, because all the other ones are pointy, but the sperm whale's kind of rounded at the front.
Yeah.
So they don't grab that one as quick. But any of the pointy whale
See, and I
knives,
like the sperm whale one better because this is obviously a humpback or a pilot or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a minky. It's hard to tell.
I
But I
think
like
they
the
say
sperm
minky.
whale
I think they're
ones.
minky. Yeah.
Are they minky?
Yeah.
They
I think
all
that's
look
what they
about
say.
the same to me. Just
I
different. kinds.
I just remember what the
Biases.
inventory sheet says.
Well,
Yeah.
they would
But
be
yeah,
right
I
on the
had
inventory sheet.
two. So Don Penny is saying I was just about to ask about the whale knives. I had 2 separate people coming into the Ottawa shop today looking for them.
Really?
Oh, something's on fire. But I don't have any here yet. I would have shown them off, but I don't have any.
Boom, yay. There's more coming. You know what this is?
I do know what that is. So
This
we
is
were
a
talking
folder
about, yeah,
from
we were
Takeda-san.
talking about Takeda earlier.
This is box elder, or sometimes called Manitoba Maple. This is
Yeah.
what I've got 5 of these in my backyard, these trees.
They're your nest egg.
That's my nest egg. That's my retirement plan.
Yeah.
His folding knives, Chris, I'm a massive fan. I'm a massive fan of Takeda's knives, and I'm a massive fan of his folding knives.
Yeah.
I just like folding knives anyway, but I really like his folding knives. They're so sharp. Keep an edge great. And I love this pink box elder with a pink sheath. Dude, this one is, they're all one of a kind. When Takeda-san makes a folding knife, there's no 2 alike because he makes the blades all unique individually, forms them all by hammer, and he makes them often out of scrap pieces of metal he's got kicking around.
Yeah.
Sometimes he cuts off a piece. Sometimes he cuts off a piece and looks at it and goes, oh, that'll be a good knife shape, and then just kind of reforms it. So this one didn't have a price, so it must be free.
If memory serves correct, those in the last garage sale went for
they're about $400, right?
$4.95, I think.
Oh, $5. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know this one's $7.95, and it's in blue.
Nice. Oh.
Do you know what this is?
Is that a horn or something?
It took 40,000 years to make this handle.
Is that like a mammoth tusk?
This is mammoth tusk out of Russia.
And how much is it?
$7.95.
That's nothing, really.
Well,
like if you compare that,
like for a mammoth tusk, I don't think it is. No.
Well, like compare that to like those Dovo Mammut razors. They're $1,100, and the scales are no bigger than that.
No, I know, but there's only one of these guys, as far as I know. Unless he had more, because he sometimes has them. Like I know last time I bought mammoth from him, I bought 5. But again, these were hot. Like I know the last garage sale that we had, the mammoth ones, they went in the first hour.
Yeah,
and
that'll fly out.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, like you and I, like staff are not allowed to buy anything at the garage sale until after the first day. If like 100%, if this is left, if there's one of these left at the end of Monday, it's mine, period.
Yeah, I had to explain that to Meki. So we've got a new guy in the Ottawa shop named Meki, He's working part-time right now, and I had to explain some of the garage sale rules to him today because I forgot. Like, everyone who works here has been around for a while, so I didn't really like. And this year's kind of been weird, so I was like, I forgot to kind of talk to them about it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you're not allowed to buy anything." And he's like, "What?" Like, he just dropped, you know. And I'm like, "Yeah, you gotta wait until the first day is all over. You're not allowed." So. Yeah, I felt
Poor
like
guy.
I told him. I felt like I told him Santa wasn't real, you know.
Hey, listen, hit me up with a name. Maybe I've got a knife here for you.
Yeah, well, I was going to mention we've got Robin said that they just started out with their first purchase of a Takamura Santoku a few weeks ago, and they love it. Wants
Love
a
it.
Nakiri. Would you recommend anything? And then
Listen, we've
Benedicto
opened
Kitchen.
several Nakiris today. Just get this one. I've got the matching chef's knife to this.
Yeah.
It's
And if you
it's $379. It's SG2 powder steel.
yeah.
It is Damascus. It's etched. It's gorgeous. It's from Kato-san, and his Nakiris are so thin. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's
Because
just
if you got
through onions.
yeah. If he got the red-handled Takamura, it depends on which one you got.
Yeah, if you got the Akagohan, this is the same steel.
Yeah. Yeah. So you
This
know
is
what
just
to
in a
expect.
way prettier package.
And it'll be taller too than your Santoku. I like a Nakiri a lot. I prefer a Nakiri over a Santoku.
Hit me up with the name. I've got some names here in front of me. Anybody want to see something specific? I don't have a lot of knives left, but who knows?
Someone earlier was asking if we had any. Oh no! Someone asked about the Where was it? I'm going back here in the.
Well, here I've got two more Who wants to see Kurosaki knives?
Yeah, I think it might have been. Someone was asking if we had a Senko Suji. So, Brian, we had the Senko Santoku. Unless that's what Kevin is showing right now is a Senko Suji, and that's why he went whoop.
I just pulled out a Sasame.
Oh, nice.
And then something that looks like a Kurochi Sasame to me. Oh, Fusion, but a Kurochi Fusion, not a polished one. So that's Algami Super with stainless. What do you want to see first? Because, here, I'm just going to do them both at the same time. Because listen, dude.
Oh, that's why you were laughing it up. Those handles are something, you know?
Listen, if this pink handle's around, it's mine at the end of Monday. Here, which one do you want to see first? How about this one here?
I want to see that Fujin.
Fusion Bunka, Agami Super with stainless, and it is $373 with that turquoise handle. And look at the shape of his handles, right?
Yeah, I like it. Like the Matsukage Zeros do that too, where the handles kind of are hourglass shaped like that.
And look at this little curve here, where your little fingers just curve. Like, dude, that little curve is exactly where I want to have my hand. It feels so good.
Do you know what Fujin is?
Great handles, but he's making better handles. So that one's $733, one of a kind. That's not going to last. That's going to be like this.
Can you hold that up again? Yeah, because I'm going to tell everybody what Fujin means. So one of the fun things about Kurosaki is that the names usually mean something. Like Senko means flash, right? So that's why it looks like fireworks. Sasame, which is a line that he makes for us, is the word for a bamboo leaf. So if you look at the knife, it looks like a bamboo thicket. Fujin is the wind god in Japan.
Oh, I know who Fujin is. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at it, it looks like a stormy day. So someone once described it to me. I think because he does the Fujin and he does the Raijin, which is another kind of storm god. He
might be the rain god if he's with the anyway.
So the other one had like
temples.
Yeah. So he does the other one had like Damascus along. I'm pointing at the screen like you guys can see what I'm talking about. But it had Damascus along the bevel. And one person looked at it one time and told me that this knife, obviously this knife is named this. It looks like a shitty day at the beach. because you had the wind coming in from the side. And yeah, Fujin and Reijin, those are two of the bad guys. Remember in Big Trouble in Little China, the two guys with like the guys who showed up and they were fighting them. They had the three ghostly guys.
Oh,
That was the
look
name
at
of two of
that.
them.
Ouch. Now, especially, it seems that Sean Buckle is after one of these Cobalt Sasame. So am I. This Cobalt Steel's wicked. And this handle is just woohoo. This is $399 small dollars. And Naoto's been busy putting these handles.
$399.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna find it on the website and I'm gonna put the link up. So then it's hard for everybody and they all have to fight over it.
That makes me feel weak. Look at that handle. Ah!
Oh, it's not up
Okay.
here yet. Not that I can find.
No, I stole these before Mace got the photos.
Okay. Yeah, no.
So
it's not
some of
up
these I
here
have
yet,
to
so-
return like tomorrow.
Okay.
What else do you want to see? Funny handle? Do you want to see Anderson? Do you want to see Moritaka?
Yes.
There's something here. I don't know what this is, but it seems that it's got a saya with it on the outside. I don't know what this is, but I might leave that one to the end because that looks like it might be something fun.
The
I'm
guessing
gonna leave
game.
that
is
one,
fun.
and I'm gonna leave this one because I got a Fujimoto knife here. Now this
Ooh.
might be. I haven't looked at it yet. Now this might be one that they made because they've got a new line coming for us, or it might be something with a fancy handle. So I'll wait for those two for the end. How's that sound?
Okay. Sounds good. What else you got in there? Why don't you like show me two knife
Anderson?
boxes and I'll pick one? Oh, I like Andrew. Yeah. Yeah. And Anderson made my first Japanese knife. Well, my first like
Did you-
handmade knife.
Can you tell everybody what's going on in garage sale day while I show this knife? Because somebody's
of
asking
course.
when does it go live and all of that.
Okay, so garage sale. Yep, Brian, you got the right idea. So garage sale right now, if you look at the website, you're going to see a whole bunch of knives that are out of stock, or they don't say they're out of stock, but they're not available to purchase. What happens is at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so here in Ottawa, 10 a.m., someone is going to go find the big red switch and they're going to flick it. And then all of those things go live on the website. The best advice I can give you is to make there's one of these knives, like you want the mammoth handled Takeda or you're after that pink handled Kurosaki, something that there's only one of, make more than one purchase. Because it's not,
Go and get that one pronto.
yeah, because the way the website works, it's not who's the first to put it in their cart, it's who's the first one to buy it. Which can
Okay,
be
kitten.
kind of disappointing, but
I've
I've
got my
warned you.
weird
That.
kitten here. Sorry.
There we go. We've got
My weird kitten was trying to walk amongst all the knives. It's a very bad thing. This is from from Anderson. And it's Agami Super.
Kobanka?
It's a
No,
little
just a regular
Kobanka.
Oh, it is a
It's
Kobanka.
221. And you know what Anderson's knives are like.
Yeah. Yeah, and so Anderson, I had like some Max and Globals before I got any handmade knives. My first handmade knives, I bought 3 Mizus, and those were made by Anderson, and they're so thin and they're so sharp. He's been around he's been at it the longest, or among the longest of the guys that we know. What, he just celebrated his 80th birthday, didn't he, in like April or May or something like that?
He worked that day too.
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah, so when I went to Japan with Kevin, it was about 5 years ago when I met all the blacksmiths. I remember meeting like Hiroshi Kato, so the older Kato, and Anru-san, and shaking their hands, and they like crushed my hand, and I'm literally twice their size, and it really hurt to get a handshake. So yeah, hopefully we'll get some Moritaka up there. AJ is asking if we think we'll have any of the Saji Rainbow Damascus knives. I don't know, Kevin.
You know what? Because I've been buying for this garage sale on Zoom, right?
Yeah.
So I Zoomed with him. He had some. I asked for them. Now that doesn't mean that they're going to arrive here or they're going to arrive on time. If they're not here on the first day, check back Thursday or Friday, because often we get a delivery halfway through.
Yeah, we usually get a bit of a restock.
Yeah, often that happens. I've asked for some. I've ordered some. He had some in stock, but I haven't seen them come in yet, which means they're not here yet. So maybe.
So AJ, I'm gonna presume that someone listening doesn't really know what Damascus is when I answer AJ's question. So when they layer up the steel, so Damascus is like, I got a Miyabi here. It's the closest thing. So, but when we look at this pattern in the steel, all right, that's achieved by layering up steel and hammering it out, and folding it, and hammering it out, and folding it, and hammering it out.
Yeah, but if the price is sub $900, they didn't do that. They bought layered steel and then manipulated.
They purchased it. Yeah.
Right, but then they manipulated it hard.
So that rainbow Damascus that Saji uses is made specially for him. And within those layers of steel, they put in copper and
brass.
So there's a couple layers of copper and brass that gives you that pink and yellow color as well. Remember a couple years ago, Kevin, there was some of those rainbow Damascus knives from Hinoura.
Yeah, there might be a couple of those again. I don't want to get excited and say, but there should be a few of those rainbow Damascus from Hinoura as well. I also think there's a couple River Jump.
Oh.
Yeah. Iggy's asking, is this a one-off? No, there should be more of them, but I don't think there's tons of them. I think there's under 6, but there should be more than there's more than one.
And then Spoon Monkey says, why are Moritaka knives so relatively cheap? I have a guess, but I think I don't want to say something stupid.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, because I've talked to Moritaka-san about this a few times. One, they don't do as many finishing processes, right?
Okay.
They don't polish the steel. They don't shine the steel. They don't do fancy engraving. They don't do a lot of extra processes on the knife when they make it, though they do laminate their own steel. But he says part of the expense with new blacksmiths is they have to buy a hammer. And they have to buy those wheels, like the big sharpening wheels that cost 25 grand each. And they have to buy a hammer, which costs 50 grand. And they have to, he says, we've been at this for 720 years.
Yeah, their costs are all
right. Our costs are already paid.
Makes a lot of sense,
right? So plus they've also got a really fast system. Like instead of like Fujiwara-san, when he makes his layered steel, he puts 1, 2, 3 pieces together, hammers it flat, and that's one knife, right?
Yeah.
The Moritakas take a huge long bar, split it open, and put the hard piece of steel down the center, forge weld that bar, and they do the middle, and then they do the end of the bar, and that full bar, when it's done, can make 27 knives. So they go through the process 3 times, and Fujiwara, when he does it 3 times, he makes 3 knives. But when they go through it 3 times, they make 27 knives after. So they're just, they've got a lot of momentum. They've got a long history of knowing what they're doing. They go through less processes, and they also haven't had to buy a hammer for a long time. There, hope that answers the question.
I was saying how when I first met Anru-san and Kato, and when I shook their hands, they like crushed my hand. And he says the blacksmith's secret handshake is just whether or not you wince. And Kevin told me actually if I wanted to win the respect of the blacksmiths was to beat them when we ate ramen. And because when you eat, like, ramen has been very heavily romanticized in North America, where people go down and they have like a glass of wine, and like ramen, like Kevin's line about ramen is like, it's sit down, shut up, eat, get out. Like that's what ramen is.
Eat
and
fast
I witnessed
and
that.
That's what it means. Eat fast and leave.
So we went for ramen. It was in Vancouver when they all came over when the store opened. And I don't remember the name of the place we went, but Kevin said, he's like, look, if you want these guys to like you, you got to eat this fast and you're going to burn your mouth. And I was the first one done. And I ate faster even than Ikeda. And that guy's like a dump truck.
What?
So, yeah.
Nobody can. You beat Ikeda?
I did, yeah.
That dude can
So
eat.
not only could I eat a lot of hot soup really fast, I use chopsticks in my left hand. So I'm
Ooh,
some kind of
fancy.
like, yeah, I'm like Bigfoot.
You're
I'm
like
just
Pink
this thing
Lady.
I'm just this thing they heard about. A left-handed gaijin who can use hashi. That's me.
You want to see something fun?
I do.
Does anybody know how Moritaka makes their Hanazuki?
Ooh.
So the Moritaka Hanazuki, you see how thick the tip is there,
Yeah.
right? It's really thick and a really good angle so it doesn't break off.
Yeah.
A really thick
different
spine.
handle?
And it's got a
What's
weird
up with
handle.
that knife? Yeah. Was that like one of the walnut ones?
Yeah, but it's a weird shape.
Yeah, it's an
I've
octagon.
never felt one like this
No.
before. And you know what? It feels more solid in my hand. Maybe it's their new style for butchery knives. Because
Yeah.
it's a cool shaped handle. It's a walnut one. So
Oh, but that's an Algami Super.
this is an Ishime, which they make for us. But this is
Yeah.
Algami Super, which is slightly harder steel. So it's going to stay sharp longer than the usual Ishime. This knife
That's
is really
mine.
smart. I want this. I got to tell you quickly how the Moritakas make Hanasukis. They last time I was there was October, so it's been a year now, right? Because this COVID thing happened.
Yeah.
But when I was there in October, Moritaka said, he's like, "How come you buy so many Hanasuki?" I said, "Well, yours is the best, man. Like we buy tons because it's a great knife. We buy a lot of yours because it's the best Hanasuki." And he's like, "Well, what do you mean? What makes it best?" And I said, "Well, the way the tip is and the way the heel is and the way you forged it and it doesn't chip and it stays wicked sharp and blah, blah, blah." And he just starts laughing. He says, "Do you know what?" He says, "Hanasuki is not a style of knife we make here in Kyushu." So he actually thought the Hanasuki was a European shaped knife. He didn't know. It just wasn't a knife they make. So I put it on my spreadsheet once from when I was doing ordering, because sometimes I do that. Sometimes when I'm doing ordering, I just add the something that I want and then put a number beside it and see what happens. And he went and Googled, did an image search, what is a Hanasuki? Saw the picture of it, saw that you're supposed to use it for butchery of chickens, thought about how to do it. And from the photo on Google and then knowing how he was going to use it, he went and nailed a home run. He made, I think, the best Hanasuki that we carry.
It is the best one.
And
Yeah,
it's funny because it's a testament to his skill and his thought process about how to build a knife and how to use a knife, right? Because I think it's the best Hanasuki we carry. And this one being Algami Super with this chunky handle might be the best one. And it's only $277. Like
that's nothing.
shockingly inexpensive.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of those we got. I didn't know we got any. So Naoto must have phoned them later, or they came up and said to him after that we had some. So I have no idea.
Iggy, the finish on the normal, the AS Kurochi compared to the Ishime is generally, it's a lot smoother. It doesn't have that Tsuchime,
The Tsuchime hammering, Moritaka-san said it's also improved the knives because instead of having the knives that are too easy to bend, the extra hammering stiffens them up. Also, it makes the Algami 2 perform almost the same as Algami Super. And because it's an extra forging process, basically it makes the steel denser when he's doing it. So it makes it harder and tougher. So now that he's done this with Algami Super, it should be crazy. So that's the big difference. And they just make the Ishime finish for us because we've been buddies for about 13 years now. That was nice of them. Chris, this knife is, I think it's called Tsunehiro. But it's AUS 8, it's Damascus steel.
Oh, wow.
Right? Cool pattern, right? 210 millimeter, and look at the price.
Fuck off.
$214. $214 for this? Ha ha!
That looks just like
cheaper than a Henkel 4-star, blows it out of the water, looks wise, feel wise, and
you know what it looks like? It looks like Kobayashi's knives.
But it's not Kobayashi.
No, but it looks like it. Like that
It
pattern.
looks similar. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel the same as his. It feels different because
Okay.
this collar is thicker. Kobayashi's knives are thinner right here,
Yeah.
and they have a more matchy, so it means the handle is further from the blade on the Kobayashi knife.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a
And
that's a
Kobayashi's
cool blade.
knives are nice and rounded on the spine, which is a
Yeah,
detail. That
this
I
one's
really like.
not quite as rounded and stuff.
Yeah. But for
But I think
214
like
bucks,
for 214 bucks, someone was asking what's a good entry level 210. This one. Tsunehisa. Right. What did I call it?
Yeah.
Tsunehiro. Sorry. Thanks, Sean, who takes care of me now. Secretary.
Secretary Sean Buckle. He's a good dude. We've got Sean Coots is asking about any Ogata 180 mil Nikiris.
Not
he
in this
missed out.
box.
He missed out at the last garage sale. So Sean works in the Ottawa store, and that was the knife that he was going to buy at the end of day one, and then someone bought it.
That happens sometimes.
That's the hard part about being here, you know.
Now, this is Aogami.
Yeah. Should I know what that is? Because that looks strange to me.
Well, I should know what it is too, but I don't, except that it's got a kiku on it. So this is something from Naoto's last visit. This might be.
Could it be one of the? I actually, Kevin, I've got it in a note here. Could it be the Sakai Kikumori Aogami Nishiji?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Thank you.
So
no, Sean Coots, it is not a Shigafusa, but we have Shigafusa coming. Spoon Monkey, there is some garage sale stones, some natural stones, some finger stones, and I think some retired stones from Nanawa. Ogata R2, nope, sorry, bud. That was a bummer that you missed that. I'm sorry, I'm just doing a speed round now. Blacksmith secret handshake. Yep. The other thing that blacksmiths like to do for a joke is to pick up some steel that's not red hot but still incredibly hot and stick it in your hand and see you drop it in the dirt. That's one of their favorite plans.
One time I went to Japan with a guy and I was watching Hinoura-san make his Damascus, and I was standing off to the side. And just as he was about to hit it with a hammer and sparks fly everywhere, I was shoved right in front of him and got a face full of sparks.
Oh, who would do that? What a terrible person.
Who would do that? No friend of mine. That's who.
That was probably Visti. What a jerk.
Oh, it would have been. I'm surprised Visti didn't get a photo of it. It would have been a good photo.
Was that the day that Visti's camera took the damage from the spark?
Yeah, it was the same day. Yeah.
Big chunk of steel flew off and stuck on Visti's camera and forge welded itself to the camera.
Yeah, and that was kind of like, wasn't that like, that camera was like on loan too, wasn't it?
Well, that was the body. It wasn't the body. The lens was his, and that's what it hurt, right? But the body was on loan, and the body. What did he say? The body was like 15 grand or something.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible how much it was. I've got a quick paragraph that Naoto wrote about that knife. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so these knives are made by a blacksmith on the island of Kyushu, whose identity is not known. When Kawamura-san from Sakai Kikumori traveled all around Kyushu to find new or not so well-known blacksmiths, he found this blacksmith who makes fantastic blades with a very nice rustic Nishiji finish. So I think that's kind of interesting to mention, because not every blacksmith wants their name on the blade. Because we do get like the Kurosakis who are kind of shooting for, stardom, fame, and fortune. But like Tomo from Tojiro Atelier, he was like that for a long time, where he didn't want people to know that he made the Sugimori.
Yeah, he just said, I'm an employee. It's not my business. I'm an employee. I don't want to be famous. And I think the Shacho there, the boss man, kind of pushed him into it.
Yeah.
Said,
you're gonna. I got to meet him, and he seemed like a pretty forward-thinking kind of guy. Like he understands what
Tojiro
what people
Shacho
want.
is,
Yeah,
listen, he's super forward thinking. His daughter's going to take over the company,
yeah,
which is unusual. And he's hired they've gone and hired the first female blacksmith in Japan,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Remember when we had dinner?
Very forward thinking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's pretty incredible. They're a really cool company. I learned a lot hanging out at their factory that day. Like one of the things, like we often, this is a little bit of an offshoot, but it's relevant, I think. We often talk about factory knives versus handmade knives. Now, when I use those terms, you might think of something that you might have seen on that show. Remember it was on Discovery Channel, How It's Made? And
Or
how,
on the
like,
Henkel's website.
Yeah,
Go to the
so
Henkel's website.
website.
I don't know if they still have it, but years ago they used to have
Yeah.
a video on there that showed a knife being made, and then no human was in the video
Yeah.
from beginning to end.
So-
It was remarkable.
When we say, because well, this is, and I'm speaking for Kevin when I say this, but you know, back when knifeware got started, we wanted to differentiate what Kato-san does on a day-to-day basis versus what comes out of Shun or the Tojiro DP, right? So when we say handmade versus factory made, a handmade knife is forged by hand, like what you see in this big mural on the wall here in Ottawa, versus something starting from a stamped piece of steel. It's incredible how much work is done by hand after that fact. The knives are ground by hand, they're sharpened and polished, the handles are put on by hand. A human puts it in the box. Like, it's really, when we say factory made, it started from a stamped template. Every step after that is nearly the same. And I learned that at Tojiro. Like, I don't know if you remember that, Kevin, but I said that like 100 times that day. I was like, I didn't understand how many humans, like how many craftspeople are involved in making like a Tojiro DP. The Santoku is like $109, but you got a person sharpening the knife whose job is to only sharpen. You've got someone putting handles on and sanding them, and that's their job. Like, it's pretty incredible. That was my rant for today.
I don't know. I like it. I like your rant. Space Monkey, long time ago, said, how much money do blacksmiths make? Is it a passion? Is it for passion and pittance, or is it, are they making real money? You know what? It depends on the business. All blacksmiths, like any business, some businesses do better than others. Some blacksmiths do better than others, and some blacksmiths work for the company, right? I know blacksmiths that drive dented small cars, and I know blacksmiths that drive Nissan GTRs.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends. It depends. I've actually been in only 2 GTRs, and both of them were owned by blacksmiths. And one of them made me think I was going to die. So there you go. Lee Valley has a Higo-looking knife. Say it's a carpenter's knife. Sure, a Higo's just a knife, right? That's just a traditional Japanese knife. I got one in my pocket right now, actually. This one here, and it's just a flip blade. It's got this little thing that's your lock for putting your thumb on there when you're using it. It's for carving. It's for sharpening pencils if you're a school kid. It's for all kinds of things. Shigefusa, yes, Shigefusa's coming. I think we have 4 Shigefusa knives. Might be 3. Don't quote me. But 2 of them are 270 Gyutos, which is amazing.
Kevin,
Have
I
you
need
guys
to
thought
show
about
you
putting
something.
factory versus handmade attribute on your web listings? It's in there in the words, I'm sure. If it doesn't have a blacksmith's name, you can probably assume it wasn't a blacksmith that made it.
Oh, that's some people saying hello on Instagram.
How about this? Are honing rods bad for harder steels because they're not as malleable as softer steels? Blah 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 blah. Would sharpening be better? You know what? Use the white honing rod for hard steels, or the black one. Both work. The white one gets it a little bit rougher. The black one refines the edge, and then use a strop after. And that's what I use for all my knives. I don't even care if it's half 40, which is one of the hardest going.
You know what I find is if you're going to use your honing rod, like if you're going to be good about it, I'm like pointing a lot, but if you're going to be really good about it and use your honing rod all the time, like a couple of times during meal prep, get a black one because it's not as rough. If you're going to be like me and you only do it every now and again, like whenever you notice your knife like kind of slipping behind, get a white one and then follow up with a strop. That's how I kind of differentiate it. For a while, it used to be like, are you using
that's actually really smart. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
I just want to show you a picture, Kevin, that I've arranged. This will likely make an appearance in the Ottawa store
For Christmas.
with a hat.
Nice. I'm trying to get the dude look going here these days. The irony is I own a barber shop and I can't seem to get my hair cut. So now I'm just going for the COVID. I call it the COVID locks. BJR Shank says I set a budget of $500 to buy new knives for work, and he laughed like he thinks he's going to blow it. But look at this bunka, handmade bunka, white carbon steel from Tosa. $117. Boom, 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 boom. We got a bunch of these too.
Holy shit.
We got a bunch of those. Those are going to fly out of here.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, those are always like the good, like kind of those Tosa knives are like the door crusher.
All right, here, Chris, look at this. Whenever you buy a knife from us, it comes with a little note. It says about information about the blacksmith. Sometimes it just says information about the garage sale because it's a garage sale knife. We don't normally carry it. And then on the back here, it's got all the information of how to take care of your knife, how to use the honing rod, and that the first knife sharpening is always free. And that includes repairs too. So that's good to know. This knife here is a little bit interesting as well because it comes with a little story about the knife. You'll have to have Google Translate to help you on that one.
Or you have Kasumi or Naoto's cell phone number and you text them pictures whenever your kids bring you weird anime things.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
What do you know about Mizaki, Chris?
About what?
Mizaki.
All I know is what's on this
bunka.
sheet of paper.
I
don't really know too much.
Why don't you tell us something about it? And I'll zoom in on this little bunka.
Oh, okay. Well, you talked a little bit about, we had mentioned this before. So,
and look at the handle, Chris. Look at the handle. Look at the handle. White oak.
Is it all one piece?
White oak, one piece of white oak. The same as my floor and my counter.
Nice. You know what I like about stuff like that is like I noticed that little knot in the wood, and that's the stuff that I like in a knife. Like I like the little knots and I like the stuff that tells me it's different than someone else's.
Oh yeah, like you'll know this is yours, right?
Yeah.
This is a really slender handle too, and it's got a really slender neck here. I think this feels great. But
so that
tell us about Mizaki, because this one's interesting. This one's a very interesting knife.
So he's the guy who's from Goto Island, the Goto Islands in Nagasaki. He became interested in blacksmithing while in high school, and then became an apprentice under someone named Uba-san in Fukuoka. Isn't that a really fun town? Didn't you get stuck there once, Fukuoka?
We got stuck. We might have got stuck in Fukuoka. I love Fukuoka.
Yeah.
We would have eaten a lot of ramen if we were in Fukuoka.
Yeah. So that's what. So this particular knife is Algami 2 with wrought iron on the outside. So it's going to give it like a kind of a Damascus look, but that shape where it's kind of like a bunka, but it's kind of like if a bunka met a machete because it kind of like fattens up near the tip just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
That's called Hakata.
And Hakata is the old name for Fukuoka.
Okay.
So when you go to Fukuoka, you still get off at the Hakata station because that's the old name.
Yeah. So those would be pretty cool. I've seen knives like that. I've seen like people brought them into Sharpen, before. They'd be a first to kind of come through the Ottawa store if we were to even get any. But those are. Is it how long is it, Kevin? Like, is it about? Is it a
It's
165?
165, I think. I think it says. Doesn't says.
It's
But
really hard to tell on the camera.
It's
like
165 or 180. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, looks like it's 170.
Okay. So, but that's.
I like it. I like this slender handle. I like the little skinny throat here to grab it.
Yeah.
I like that it's heavier at the front, and it's made with wrought iron. So what they do is they get old steel. This is a really old Japanese way of thinking, where you get wrought iron and then use that to clad the nice steel. This is a really, really traditional way of making a knife. Oh, excuse me. It's $670, and I think that's a nice price. Something with this much of work in it. I'm tempted. I'm so tempted by this. I don't think we got a ton of them, so I'm honest. If this mammoth Takeda folder and this and this pink handled Sasame, if these are around on Monday, these are going into my collection. Those are exquisite knives.
So Venki
really
was just asking. Venki's watched a few of our videos. Venki, that knife is made by a guy named Mizaki. It's an Aogami #2. It's a Hakata style, so kind of like a bunka, but a little bit different, with an oak handle. Yeah, you'll want to look that one up. Miyazaki. There's not too many of them, so if you do really like the look of that one, that's going to be a get up early. So maybe I'll kind of go over.
$670 small dollars for that, and I'm super into that.
Yeah. Kevin, could you find that Tosa knife again? Paul is curious about the choil of that knife and how thick it might be.
You know what? Sometimes people say, "Hey, Kevin, can I get a choil shot?"
Yeah.
And I always think that sounds so dirty. But the choil is this part right here. So this is one of the great things we can do when we do these live events, is that I can hold this up and change the angle a little bit so you can see it from different spots. Yeah. But we're going to be doing this. So for the first week, or the first day of the week-long garage sale, the Monday, Mike and I are going to be live doing exactly this with the knives, helping people pick out the right knife. So we're going to be holding the knife out at different angles and letting you see. I'll have a scale there. I'll have a measuring tape, and I'll be able to tell you everything about the knife that you ask. So that's easy. There we go. Looks like there's some comments. Oh, Sean Buckle said he wanted to see that Hakata too, and then somebody over here said, "I'm getting that knife."
Yeah, that's Venki. That's who I repeated all the info for. Venki's watched a few of our videos. Yeah.
So him and Sean want that one, and me too. So there we go. We'll see what happens there.
You guys will have to fight. So why don't I just kind of give the? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Sean also has said, Konosuke MM knives are made by a female blacksmith in Japan.
Huh?
Maybe.
I don't know that one.
Well, I got an idea. She might have made the handles. Maybe she was blacksmith. I don't know. I'll look into more of that. I wanted to get some measurements and pics of a couple more tacos. Can I shoot an email in right?
Yeah. So David, your best bet, if you want to get that to happen a little bit faster, send your email to hello@knifeware.com, and then because we've got people like that email address is being monitored while the stores are open. So someone will get that and then get your request in the hands of whomever can do something about it. And that's a knife that I wanted. Yeah, so we'll get you the measurements and pictures, but yeah, hello@knifeware.com. Oh, Sultan lives, this would be a good knife. The knife that Kevin is showing right now, Sultan, this Fujimoto with this blue handle, would be a great knife if you work by the sea, because SLD is a stainless steel.
Yep.
And it's not going to react. I would avoid, like, to be honest, like, you could use carbon steel and whatnot, but that salty air is going to want to make your knife rust faster than you want it to.
Oh,
But
yeah.
something like this SLD, this would be a good option.
So look at this. This is one of those funky handles on the Fujimoto hammer tone. So it looks like there's oak up here, something funky here, something stabilized here, and something funky. So I don't really know what the woods are on this, but it's that blue colored handle. That's pretty cool, actually. But it's no pink handle. I love that pink handle.
Don is saying, damn, I knew you were going to show this one. This is the other one I've been thinking about. I'm pretty sure I'm like Don Penny
you've been
told
thinking
me,
about a lot of knives, man.
Don Penny told me he wasn't buying any knives in garage sale, and he's got a wish list like a dozen deep at this point.
Yeah, no,
I know
he's
you, Don.
similar to me. Okay, here's the mystery. Here's the mystery package. I don't know what it is. It says this on it. It looks like it's got a saya. It feels like it might be a Nikiri. I have no idea what this is. So this is our last knife of the
This is the
batch.
last knife of the day.
And this is the mystery one. So it looks like we've got.
What have you got?
Okay, it's got a very standard
Little magnolia saya.
It says Swedish carbon on it. I'm having a hard time getting the paper off here because I kind of feel that this might be. This is not. I don't know what this is. Is this a Shiga? Oh, it's a Shigafusa?
Is it? If only we could read Japanese. I'll look. I will take a look.
Here we go. I've got a mystery knife here. No name, no price. Oh, it's $489. It's Swedish steel. Is it a Shigafusa? I think it is.
Yeah, I found it on the website.
And we've got a saya with it. And there's one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is in the Shigafusa box. So there we go. $489 for that guy.
That's
saya.
That's nothing really.
That's pretty cool.
Because how long would it take if you wanted to get a Shigafusa knife? Like
if you were to order a Shigafusa knife now, like if you were to be a customer to order a custom one, it would take 24 years.
Yeah.
So there's that.
That's a long time.
Sean says it's a Shiganakiri. He's going to get it.
That's going to have to be a wake up early one. You know what? That Udholm steel, though, like I've got a knife made out of Udholm, and it is nuts. I like it a lot. Because what didn't he say, like, I might, stop me if I'm mixing things up, Kevin, but didn't Shigafusa say that he really likes the Udholm, or maybe it was Bob Kramer said that Shigafusa like, I'm sure it's a bit of a game.
Kramer's a huge fan of Shigafusa, right? Kramer says Shigafusa is the best blacksmith in Japan out of the two that he's met.
Well, there we go.
So,
but I guess
he likes the attention. He likes the attention they have to detail, and the fit and finish on them is always beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like
they're just like
they're
he
perfect,
said that,
right? There's no problem.
He really likes it because it's very comparable to a white carbon, right? Like he finds it working it is like a white carbon. Yeah.
Well, it performs a lot like a white carbon steel too.
Yeah.
Don't cut onions with the turn orange. Well, don't cut onions with carbon blades right up the beginning anyway.
No, you got to build up. You know what? Cut a whole bunch of onions and then cook them immediately, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
That'll help get the patina on there real fast.
So Michael Fordsman just said he just ordered a Shigefusa Kurochi. Is that what I could find? Yeah, that's what you'd find. He's considering moving the Kurochi and turning it into a Kasumi. Is that stupid? Well, it's yours. Do what you like. I wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I find they're usually better at that than I am.
Sean, by the way, Sean on Facebook there. Yes, there are lots of stories, and I'll leave it at that. There are lots of stories.
A little bit of Kevin.
I know some of the
insider
truths.
info.
I know some of the truths on that. There's reasons why we don't, Chris, we don't carry every brand of knife, and there's reasons.
Yeah.
And some people, there's reasons why we don't carry certain brands that some people often ask me, why don't you carry that brand? And I say things like, oh, I have reasons.
Yeah. I just tell people we sell the knives we like,
Well, and that's it. And also from the people we trust. We sell the knives we like from people that are trustworthy.
Who's getting me here? Who's this? Oh, babe.
Okay. Listen,
we've talked a lot about garage sale. I know it is
time. So this is probably the time to say, hey, if you have questions, get them in now, because Chris has got his wrap-up soliloquy planned.
I take notes for these. I know that it looks like I am vastly underprepared and I don't know what's going on most of the time. I have notes, and that's just part of my charm. So, garage sale. Well, we did a couple of weeks ago. We did sharpening for the food bank in all of our cities. So, when you came in, normally we work with charity. We donate a large portion of what we raise from sharpening knives to local charities. For instance, in Ottawa, we generally work with Operation Come Home and their Food Works social enterprise.
Chris, did you know that equates to about 1 to 2% of our sales? Like, we donate about 1 to 2% of our yearly sales to different local charities.
Nice.
Do you know who else does that? No businesses. Nobody.
No.
We've always just done half of our sharpening. That's how much sharpening we do.
Yeah.
But we donate now 1 to 1.5, let's say, of our yearly sales to local charities. This is a real good reason why you want to buy from independent stores, right? Do you know what Husky and Walmart, they don't do that. They have a shit ton more money to play with, and they don't do that.
You know what they do is they ask you at the, here's my other rant.
Okay, this pisses me off too, so go for it.
Okay, so you know what they do is when you're buying your friggin' groceries, they ask you if you want to donate $5 to whatever, and it's like, fuck you, man, you donate it. You got billions, and I've got hundreds. So why don't you donate it?
I'm a hundredaire yet again.
Yeah, that used to drop. So this is when I was at my restaurant, we used to have this discussion often. When I was at Union, we turned down being on the en route list. And then because we had told them, why are you kind of trying to stress us out to write an article so you can get more asses in seats, when in reality, you should just take that money and it was a stupid thing because the restaurant would have been a hell of a lot busier, but we were really upset that someone was trying to take advantage of us.
You and I have been getting upset. I can't imagine.
Yeah, at the time it felt really punk rock. Now it feels kind of stupid, but I still feel the same. So when we did this was from October 26th to November 1st. So just like a week and a bit ago, in 1 week across Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, and Ottawa, we raised $15,884 for our local food banks through knife sharpening. So if you brought us a knife during that week, and I'm sure if you brought a knife in, we told you all about it, or you brought it in because you heard about it, we gave all of that money. We had a great, I don't know if he's watching or if anyone knows him, but we have an awesome customer in Ottawa. His name is Steve Nickel, and he went onto the website and bought six sharpenings that he had no intention of using, and told me to hand those out to any culinary students or line cooks who were kind of out on their luck right now.
What?
Yeah. So I don't know if he's watching or whatnot, but that makes me feel
a bit emotional, man.
Yeah. He's a wicked dude. a wicked dude. And that was such a, like that, he didn't have to do that. And there's been a few, we've handed out a few of them so far. We've been kind of holding on to them for people who need them. So yeah,
What a good guy, man. What a good guy.
Yeah. So garage sale, that's what we've been talking about the whole time. Garage sale is a week-long event. Okay, it starts on November 16th. It's a Monday.
And we often get knives partway through.
Yeah. So expect
That's
some
just a
kind of
fact.
email. Keep an eye on social media about things that like a bit of a re-up, because it always happens, because you know, Kevin asked Saji for X number of this and he didn't send X number of that right away, but he'll probably send something else.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is they often will just send other things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah. So
they know we're good. They know we'll like it, so that's fine.
Yeah. So it starts at 10. Normally we have a big crowd of people in the shops, and we can't do that this year for obvious reasons. We have to limit the number of people in the stores to keep the staff safe, keep the customers safe. It's been a big topic of discussion lately, especially today. But we are urging you to check out the website, shop via the website. Kevin is going to be doing a video much like this from the warehouse, all of that Monday, or the bulk of the Monday. He says that it'll be 6 hours, but he'll go as long as he's needed. That's what happens every time.
We went 8 last time.
Yeah. So it'll be like, think of a knifeware infomercial. Okay. You can scope something out online.
Interactive infomercial.
So you can come over just like what we do on Tuesdays, ask the detailed questions. Kevin will find the knife, show it up close, kind of help you. Like you might say, like, I just bought, I don't know, like it could be like, I just bought one of those Hakata knives. Can you help me pick out, I want the lightest one, or can I see the handles? Or like, that's what we're here for. We are getting some inventory into the stores, but not a ton. So we will have some stuff. So if you want to choose a curbside pickup option, you can. That's still going to be there for a lot of stuff. All orders over $200 qualify for free shipping within North America. So you don't necessarily need to worry about shipping. If you want to do curbside and get it a little bit sooner, if it's in your local store, we can make it happen.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is sometimes it's not in your local city, right? Just because
Yeah.
it's on the website doesn't mean we have any inventory in your town.
Yeah. Yeah. So and this is the last thing, please bear with us. Give us the time to pack and ship your knives, because we test all the knives to make sure they're as sharp as can be. We test them and we inspect them very closely before we pack them in the box. So we want to make sure we're sending you what you wanted and that it's in as good of a condition as it can be. So give us a chance to do that. So around garage sale, like, you know, if you place an order at 10 a.m. on the 16th, it might not ship for 2 or 3 days. And please be patient with us, because we want to make sure that you get it, and we want to make sure that you got what you paid for.
Exactly. We want to send you
get
the
it
right
in good shape.
The right knife in
Yeah.
the right shape, sharpened if it needs it, or touched up if it needs it, right? Like, we want you to get the right thing.
Yeah.
So we get really busy at garage sale, and especially when it's all online. And I'm sorry that our shipping isn't nearly as fast as it usually is, but we're doing our best to be fast, but also to be super accurate, because you just don't want to get the wrong knife. You'll just be pissed off, and it just causes everybody problems, right? Mike H, thank you. Yes, Sultan, the knife you're asking, this one here, is a custom handle Fujimoto hammer tone Yuto 210 millimeter. Mike H knows. So that's the knife you are looking for. Todd is asking, I was planning on buying someone a Nakiri knife from the Calgary store as a gift. I see 2 sizes. Is there a benefit to 165 versus 150? Yes, the 165 is a usable, normal, standard Nakiri size. 150 is a small Nakiri. So
Yes, for babies.
if you're just buying somebody a 1 Nakiri, you buy them a 165. If you're, let's say, a chef that needs a smaller Nakiri at service or something else, for like you think a smaller Nakiri would be good, get the 150 as a second Nakiri. Just get a 165. You can also get 195 and 180 Nakiris, but just get the 165.
165 is like the standard choice. It's what everyone is expecting.
Sabrina says she's never been so excited for an infomercial. Sabrina, you might change your mind after watching Mike, myself, Naoto, and probably Chris, and Owen. I think we'll go to the other stores and have live segments with them.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
But yeah, there you go. Might be a very long, boring infomercial. Might be fun. We're gonna look at lots of knives, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like this one.
Sultan is asking about that blue-handled knife and the price on it. Not the one you're currently showing, but that was the Fujimoto Hammer Tone with the custom blue handle. Yeah, I don't know if what's the price on that guy, Kevin?
$394.
$394. So
$394. And Mike H. So Sultan, if you look at Mike H's response, you can cut and paste the name of that knife and search it on the website.
Yeah. AJ, do you know when they ask you at checkout to do that, they get the tax write-off?
So when they say, do you want to give $2 to the whatever charity, then that company goes and donates all that money they collected, and then they get the tax write-off for it too.
What a bunch of pricks.
Maybe we should start being like that and just do terrible things like that.
I'll quit.
So will I.
And I'll be very vocal.
Don Penny, yes, it's the same blade as the other hammer tone knives, just different handle. Sabrina said she was at the last garage sale and it was thrilling. Chris, that was thrilling watching me talk for too many hours and drinking Mike Wrench coffee.
Oh,
so Mike, our general manager, he makes coffee. See this is a porter. He makes coffee this color.
Yeah.
That's just
You'd be better off just consuming chili snow than drinking a ton of Mike Wrench coffee.
Mike Wrench coffee, 1 cup is fantastic. Second, like halfway through the second cup, and you're like, I can feel the pulse in my fingertips.
Yeah, and your eyes just get bigger.
Yeah, they just twitch. Man, he makes strong coffee.
And then later you get real sad.
Yeah, Don Penny said, yeah, you got me to buy a couple in the last garage sale, even though I said I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Don Penny, I understand you. You are me.
So I'm going to answer this. This is our last question. Well, Damon, this is not the last one. Damon says, with so much sharpening, how's everyone's fingers doing? There you go. That's an answer. Boop, 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 boop.
I didn't do very much. I'm not allowed in the shops right now.
No.
Because there's this COVID thing happening. Now, the problem is if one of our staff tests positive, we're going to have to shut that store down because everybody else is going to have to quarantine. So myself and Naoto, who still works in the shops now and again, and Nathan, who's just a crazy human, and our designer Mason, the 4 of us are the B team. So we actually have to keep ourselves healthy just in case a shop shuts down. And then the 4 of us will ship out and take care of that shop.
Yeah. That's why you guys don't see Alex in the Ottawa store very much, as I've been making him work from home for the last month and a half in the same, just in case. So, I was going to say, there was a great question from, where was it? And it's kind of the one that I want to go out on. MP is asking, these are like important questions. They're not as funny. How does the garage sale work? Are those the prices? Those are the prices. The thing to know about garage sale is that it is not us discounting current inventory. It's all about bringing in stuff we don't normally carry. So it's about one-of-a-kind special stuff, some door crasher stuff. Those are the prices. They're not going to change.
Well, the prices are already smoking. That's the thing.
Yeah, and if you found something comparable, like we were looking at those Kato Dashiji knives that they're like Algami, like if a Yuki was an Algami Super, if you compare that to like a Koishi, it's not fair. You know, they're already kind of priced to move. But Dr. G, this is the question that I wanted to ask. Dr. G says, who would you rather have with you in a dark alley at 2 a.m. in the rough part of town? Don Penny or Fujiwara-san, and why?
Fujiwara-san.
Yeah.
Because mostly just all the stories about Don Penny, we've just made up. Yeah. But Fujiwara-san, I saw him.
He did give me this, though.
Fujiwara-san gave you that?
No, Don Penny did.
No, Don Penny's a good man. We like the whole bit about him fighting the Foreign Legion. That was over exaggerated. He was a general, so he wasn't really fighting in the trenches
Yeah,
there.
he was just in.
And he did teach me how to drive a motorcycle, jump out of an airplane, and sharpen a knife. These are all true facts.
At the same
But
time.
I saw Fujiwara-san in wooden sandals stare down a car on a busy Tokyo street and make it turn around and go the other way because he wouldn't move.
I was there for that. That's real. And let's be honest, if we're in a dark alley at 2 a.m. and with Don Penny or Fujiwara-san, it's probably my fault that we're there.
That's probably a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, Chef Max showed up just on time, buddy. 2 hours late. Well done.
Just in time to give me shit about briskets and Dyson onions.
Listen, Sean Buckle just said, be careful. 6 people at my restaurant, including me, just got COVID. And everybody's been masked up and washing hands. Yeah, masking up and washing hands reduces your chances, but it doesn't make it 0, does it?
You know what?
I hope you're doing okay, because a lot of people, this is really bad for. But a lot of people have no symptoms as well. So it's just such a wacky thing.
Yeah, I had to go get a test on Friday because I woke up.
Did they stick something this long up your nose?
Yeah, you know what the nurse told me? She's like, it's going to feel a lot like if you've jumped into a swimming pool and forgot to plug your nose. And I was like, okay, that's uncomfortable, but I know that sensation. I'm familiar with that. As soon as I could feel that sensation, she jammed that friggin' thing in another 3 inches. Like I could feel it. Like it was like here, I swear. So I don't know. Should we say goodbye? Has anyone got any? Oh, Sean's going to be doing okay, says. What have we got? Adrian's snowboard season.
Chef Max is excited about, Chef Max is Adrian, right?
Yeah.
Excited about snowboarding. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I might go.
No?
He's up in Banff. I'm going to Banff this weekend. I'm staying at the Chateau this weekend.
Ooh, lovely.
Yeah.
We were there.
They sent me a 2-for-1 coupon.
Oh, wicked. May as well.
Yeah, and some deals on food too. So I was hoping to go skiing at Nikiska, but I don't know if they're open yet.
I don't know where that is. I've never been there.
Yeah, well, I'm just Googling it now because that's what we do when we're on live things. We just kind of Google to see if the ski hill's open that I want to ski at this weekend.
Yeah. Well,
that's how bad it's gone. That's how bad it's become. I'm sorry.
But
I apologize for everybody that watches this. It's mostly Chris.
Yeah.
He's a bad man.
I'm pretty terrible. I don't know why anyone hangs out with me.
Well, I like you. We got in a lot of trouble in Banff. Remember we drank Crave TV's free champagne? That was nice.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Have I told this story before? I don't know if I have.
I think you told it last week. I think you told it last week.
I like finishing our Tuesdays with a silly story. So I'm going to tell it anyways, because maybe someone didn't watch. We've got like new friends and whatnot. And then we're going to say goodbye because I got to go to the grocery store and stuff, and I'm off tomorrow. And I'm kind of sleepy at this point. So,
pumpkin.
Kevin and I we had this idea about writing a television show about someone who was a lot like me.
Chris, we're still doing it.
Yeah, well, it's still like I have the rough draft is on my kitchen counter. It has been for a year.
Yeah, it's still happening. Don't worry.
Yeah, so we're working on this show. We got this idea about this guy, goes to Japan, fish out of water. The hook is that he hallucinates. He has like a sidekick, a kappa. So we go to Banff because that's where they have the World Media Festival. We're trying to sell the store or the story. The thing about going to a World Media Festival and that kind of thing is that there are people there who know what they're doing and they've like spent their whole lives working on this. And Kevin and I spent a week in Kyoto and got super drunk and like wrote up like a plot summary and that kind of thing. And we thought that would be good enough that someone would want to buy. It was a lot like near the end of Train Spotting when, Sick Boy and Spud are trying to sell all the drugs. That was us. No business being there. We were walking through a hallway and I wasn't looking at where I was going and I ran right into the guy from Will and Grace and like spilled his coffee. Like it was.
He's tiny though.
He bounced right off of me. But so we're
Sounds
there,
like the day,
and
that sounds like the day I met Tom Cochran. Same thing.
yeah,
And
just
he's an old man. He was an old man too. Tom Cochran's much older than me. I didn't
yeah,
realize that until I bumped into him coming out of the Harley Diner,
yeah.
and I grabbed
Oh,
him as he was falling backward.
that's just up the
Anyway,
road from the store. So
yeah,
we're
yeah.
there. We've done our unsuccessful pitches, and we just we found this like one corner in one of the bars in the hotel, and it's kind of where we were hanging out. And we just wandered right in, like we knew we belonged there, and we must have walked into some like VIP zone, and we sat down, and someone came over and asked us if we wanted a glass of Veuve Clicquot, and then Kevin kind of clued into what was going on, said, "Yeah, you can just leave the bottle. That's fine."
Yeah, well, you got to
And then
be.
yeah, and
That's
then
not,
we drank the
that's
whole
not to be
bottle,
stupid.
and then we had to scurry out of there. So yeah, it's like because once we were afraid to get caught.
They brought us food too, which was kind.
Oh yeah, it was like the good bar snack mix. The
Yeah.
Ramsey Lounge. Yeah, it's beautiful because like looking out at the mountains. I'm from Ontario. We don't have mountains. You know, we've got
You
like
got big hills though. You call them mountains.
mm,
You do. They're
they
really
do
big
that.
hills.
Yeah, but that's in Gatineau. That's not really in Ontario. We can see them from here, but we don't call them mountains.
Oh, well, the
Yeah.
French is
I'm not
better.
really from Ontario. So
No, you can tell by the way you act and the way you eat hot
Yeah.
dog sandwiches. No, what is it? Fried bologna.
oh yeah.
No, meatball. What is it?
Yeah.
Meatball.
Gravy and meatballs from Fraser Farms. Oh, there's all kinds of shit in here. I wish I didn't read that.
It's called purity, but there's nothing
It-
pure.
Yeah, it's
Listen,
pretty much.
Todd-
It's like a hot dog in a can.
Yeah, I gotta get off you there. Todd's asking about the Highline Brew. Do you know about this, Chris? Sometimes we do stuff and I don't tell everybody. You know how we keep bees?
Oh, I did.
We've got two.
Yeah.
So we've got two beehives that we keep.
I've
in
got some of
Calgary.
the honey here.
Right.
I got some honey.
Yeah.
Show the honey. I'll go get a jar.
We've got 4 years now of vertical tasting honey, so you can grab all 4 years and taste the difference in the Calgary honey every year, which is
That's
cool.
2020.
So we've got honey and bees, and we have they make an incredible amount of honey. And this year, for fun, we took the honey and gave it to Highline Brewery, which is a brewery that is literally beside our shop. In fact, their back door is one step from my parking spot at the back of the shop. If I ever parked there, if I ever bought a car there.
Yeah.
And they're making a honey, and they've got apples. So they've got some local apples and honey beer.
Okay. But it's still
And-
going to be like malt. It's not going to be like a mead or a cider. It's going to be a
No,
beer,
it's
like, is that-
it's a beer with adjuncts. So it's a beer
Okay.
with apple and honey adjuncts. It sounds fantastic. It hasn't been kegged or bottled yet, but it's coming out soon. You're going to be able to drink it at Highline, and obviously we can't give it away for free at stores, so we wouldn't do that. But if you bought a lot of things at Christmas at our store, maybe you might end up with one in your bag because it might.
Sometimes they fall
from-
in.
It might
Yeah.
sometimes they're like on the counter, and then when I'm not looking and I'm holding the bag there, they just fall in. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, where did all that beer go? I don't know what happened.
They can't
And,
arrest us for being stupid.
Yeah, and we're pretty stupid. So sometimes beer falls in bags. I don't know. It's a thing. So
I don't know.
There you go. That's that. Chris is a newfie, laughs Adrian. And
It's
Chef
true.
Max also thinks you're a newfie, which is funny. He also thinks cut an onion wrong. He also knows
Yeah.
that Don Penny makes better brisket than you. So that's
True.
maybe that's where we got to end this.
Let's see.
A lot of people saying thanks. Well, thank you guys for showing up and listening to this madness. 2 hours of just garbage, really, Chris.
Yeah, you know what though? I have fun. We have 41 people watching us ramble. So
Wow. I feel like we should do something. Do you want to see the new strop I made?
yeah, sure. But
I
then
made
we
a
gotta
new- I
say
made a new
we gotta
strop.
say bye then because I do have
I made
to
a new
go.
strop.
Let me see it.
It's a guitar neck. In fact, it's a Honer guitar neck. So this is like a Prince guitar neck strap.
Oh, did you pick
So
that
I
one
now-
because it's for honing?
Well, it's a Honer for honing. I didn't. I picked it because this is the guitar neck that somebody gave me for free. My neighbor gave me a couple of guitar necks, and this is one of them. Because he was going to do something with this, but then he decided to build his guitar differently and then didn't want this neck anymore. Gave me a perfectly good neck, but I've turned it into a knife strop, which is outstanding.
That's fun.
And here is the knife, the Sasame Bunka, with that handle that I
That's mental.
want to buy so badly.
You probably should.
Oh.
If only there weren't rules. So.
Chris the Voog says he wants to compare your two briskets because he's certified. He's certifiable, but I don't know if he's certified.
You know what, Voog? I don't do anything based on other people's rules. Okay? I know what I do. I know that it tastes good. And if the Kansas City Barbecue Society doesn't like it, well, they can fuck off, to be honest.
Maybe Chris put too much lime and chili snow on his brisket. And those Kansas City.
Yeah. I don't do very well in those
Kansas
situations.
City, man.
I don't. Yeah. Actual competition is not fun for me. I'm the one who normally shows up and like does something way off the wall and never had a chance of winning. You know what? This is maybe a good piece of advice to close the show on, for real. I was talking to Todd Perrin one time. I think you were there, Kevin. And Todd, I was asking him about being on Top Chef Canada. So Todd Perrin owns a restaurant outside of St. John's called Mallard Cottage.
He's also owns Kitty Vitty. Or no, it's in Kitty Vitty. But he's got something new. He's got something new out there, though.
He's been open. Yeah, there's something in a hotel in St. John's. I've kind of lost track of it. But last time I saw him, we were talking about it. And I was like, what's it like? Because he wasn't on Top Chef for very long, was he? And the thing he said, I remember why I was talking to him about this. But the thing he said, he's like, I didn't go on that show to win. I went on that show to be remembered.
Mm-hmm.
So remember that?
Because he was one of the first guys to go.
Yeah. Who did win that show that year?
Not my friend Connie. She almost won.
Yeah.
But everybody remembers her.
Johnny Korecki was in the last three. He was in the top three. Johnny Korecki from Ottawa.
I think it was that guy that's got Aiden in Saskatoon now.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that I know Todd's name, but I don't know the name of the guy who won.
Yeah, I know. Todd did a great job.
That's my mentality. Yeah. And Todd's an amazing guy.
Oh, Todd's a good man. He tunes in sometimes, but then he tunes out because he doesn't like buying knives anymore. He's afraid.
Yeah, he's afraid. He's got the bug.
Well, he's got a lot of knives, right?
He does. That guy.
Yeah.
The reason I asked, I don't think you were with me when I asked him that question, because that was that night when I ended up in Chinatown in Toronto with Robert Clark and Rob Belcham and Jesse Vergan and Todd Perrin at some restaurant in Chinatown. I don't know. You were sleeping or something. It was actually, you know what? That was the night. We were there for Terroir. I dropped you off at the airport, and then because I had to do the pop-up the next day or something like that. Right. Yeah. This was the same year as when Nathan Garrow wandered around Little Portugal.
Funny night, though. That was the first day that I liked Toronto ever, was when we spent that night in Little Portugal.
Yeah.
I felt like I'd found my people.
Enoteca Sociale. That was the name of the restaurant.
Yeah, I felt I'd found my people. All right. Peace out, everybody.
We got to say bye now, because now we're just having a real conversation, and we can do that later.
All right. Well, thanks for joining in. See you on...
Don't forget. Well, Friday
between... Friday is more of this. Monday is the real deal.
Yeah.
Big long thing, and then Thursday as well. We're gonna do. Mike and I are gonna do Thursday evening. We're gonna do a.
Friday is more of like the professional version of this, because you've got Naoto. Like Naoto knows what he's talking about and is more educated than I. So.
Well, he's just professional.
And he's better.
He's not a boob.
No, I am a boob. So.
All right.